bit bigger. It's a bit bigger than normal. Yeah.
Proclaim that he's the best looking or the best everything.
Did King Charles just break royal tradition for Princess Charlotte? Whispers from the French state banquet suggest something huge happened, an unexpected title handed out on the spot. What's going on behind palace walls? Stay tuned for all the details, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a royal twist. It was supposed to be just another grand royal evening, polished, traditional, predictable. The French state banquet was in full swing. The chandeliers sparkled, guests from around the world mingled, and the royal family moved through the room with their usual grace. But what happened next turned the entire event on its head. King Charles, known for his composed demeanor, stood to speak. But instead of a typical royal address, he dropped a surprise that left the room frozen in silence. He announced that Princess Charlotte, his 10-year-old granddaughter, was being given a rare new royal title. Gasps, confused glances, even Prince William and Princess Catherine looked completely caught off guard. And right in the center of it all, Charlotte sat wide-eyed. Her expression was pure emotion, part disbelief, part excitement, and a whole lot of, wait, did I just hear that right? For a moment, it felt like time stopped. No one expected a royal title to be handed out in the middle of a diplomatic banquet, especially not to a child. And yet here it was, live, unfiltered, and totally unplanned. Or was it? Royal experts immediately began speculating. Because this wasn't normal. Royal titles aren't spontaneous. They're planned, discussed, often debated behind closed palace doors. And yet, King Charles bypassed all that. He didn't wait for tradition to catch up, he acted on instinct. Some say it was a bold move, others believe it was a deeply personal gesture. Either way, it caught everyone off guard, and it raised some major questions. Why now? Why Charlotte? And what could this sudden change mean for her future in the royal family? One thing was clear, this wasn't just about ceremony. It felt bigger, more meaningful. Maybe even a sign that things inside the royal family are shifting faster than anyone expected. And the way Charlotte responded, gracious, shocked, but visibly proud, only added to the weight of the moment. This wasn't just a formality, it was the start of something that might change everything. Royal titles don't come easy. In fact, within the walls of Buckingham Palace, every title is tied to centuries of tradition, protocols, and a long list of formal steps. They aren't handed out at random. So when King Charles announced a new title for Princess Charlotte, without any public buildup or official process, people started asking questions. Normally, such decisions follow a strict path. Titles are discussed by advisors, reviewed for historical precedent, and often approved behind multiple closed doors before being granted. The announcement is typically reserved for a carefully timed press release or a royal occasion with weeks of notice. But this was different. This felt spontaneous, emotional, as if Charles had made the call himself in that moment, driven not by protocol, but by something far more personal. And that's why this is so unusual, because let's be clear, Princess Charlotte already had a full title, Her Royal Highness, Princess Charlotte of Wales. She's part of the direct royal bloodline and has held a recognized position within the monarchy since birth. But to receive a new title, especially one typically reserved for adulthood or marriage, that's rare, very rare. Some insiders say this was a break in tradition, a bold step by a modern king who's not afraid to rewrite the old rules. Others believe it may be part of a long-term vision, a quiet strategy to reshape how the monarchy operates in the 21st century. But of course, not everyone agrees. There's chatter that this could be seen as favoritism. After all, why Charlotte? Why not George or even Louis? But then again, Charles has always had a way of signaling his plans through subtle, symbolic actions. Could this be one of them? Is he setting Charlotte up for something bigger, a more active role, or a future position that goes beyond the expectations of a typical royal daughter? This unexpected moment at the banquet may not have followed the official playbook, but that might be the point. It could be Charles's way of saying, the monarchy is evolving, and Charlotte is going to be a part of that change. One decision, one title, and a ripple effect that has everyone wondering, what's coming next? Long before Princess Charlotte could walk or talk, before she even opened her eyes for the first time, her future was already being shaped behind palace doors. While most babies are born into families full of love and dreams, Charlotte was born into legacy, duty, and history. And surprisingly, some of that legacy was protected before she was even born. Back in 2013, Queen Elizabeth II made a quiet but powerful move. She signed an amendment to the Succession to the Crown Act. It didn't make headlines at the time, but it changed everything. Until that moment, the royal family had followed male preference primogeniture, a centuries-old tradition that allowed younger brothers to leapfrog over their older sisters in the line of succession. But the Queen decided that enough was enough. Her amendment meant that, no matter whether William and Kate's second child was a boy or a girl, their place in the line to the throne would be based on birth order, not gender. So when Princess Charlotte was born on May 6, 2015, she made history just by arriving second. And when her younger brother, Prince Louis, came along in 2018, Charlotte kept her place in the line of succession. That had never happened before in the history of the British monarchy. And that wasn't the only change made for her. Queen Elizabeth also made sure that Charlotte would carry the title of princess. According to royal tradition, only the eldest son of the Prince of Wales was automatically entitled to be a prince. Without intervention, Charlotte might have grown up simply as Lady Charlotte or Miss Mountbatten Windsor. But the Queen stepped in again, this time with a letters patent, ensuring Charlotte would be born with the style and title of Her Royal Highness, Princess Charlotte of Cambridge. And that matters. Being born a princess of the blood isn't just about a title on paper. It's about position, visibility, and potential influence within the monarchy. Unlike her mother, Kate, or even Princess Diana, who married into the family, Charlotte was born into royalty. It's in her blood. And as her father's title changed, from Duke of Cambridge to Prince of Wales, Charlotte's title shifted too. First, she was Princess Charlotte of Cambridge. Then briefly, Princess Charlotte of Cornwall and Cambridge. And now, Princess Charlotte of Wales. Every title change reflects her father's rise, and potentially her own. So when King Charles gave her a new title at the French state banquet, it wasn't entirely out of the blue. It was, in many ways, a continuation of a royal legacy carefully protected and shaped over the past decade. Charlotte wasn't just handed a name. She was handed history, a position secured by a queen's foresight and now expanded by a king's boldness. This wasn't an accident. This was the next chapter in a story that's been quietly unfolding since before Charlotte even entered the world. And the real twist? There may be even more titles waiting for her in the future. Ever since that unexpected moment at the French state banquet, royal watchers haven't stopped buzzing. What exactly was the title King Charles gave Princess Charlotte? And more importantly, what does it mean? The palace hasn't confirmed anything officially, but insiders, biographers, and fans have been piecing the puzzle together, and two titles keep coming up in hushed tones: Duchess of Edinburgh and Princess Royal. Let's start with the Duchess of Edinburgh. That title is currently held by Prince Edward's wife, Sophie. But here's the thing, it's not a permanent title. It's held for life. Once Prince Edward passes, the title reverts back to the crown. That opens up a unique opportunity for King Charles, or even Prince William once he becomes king, to pass it along to someone new. And many believe Charlotte is at the top of that list. According to royal biographer Robert Jobson, Charles has long seen Charlotte as a strong candidate to carry the Edinburgh name forward. It's a prestigious title, rich in history, and giving it to Charlotte would be a powerful gesture, especially since daughters rarely receive duchies in the same way royal sons do. But that's not the only possibility. There's another title far more exclusive, one that only one woman in the royal family can hold at a time: Princess Royal. Right now, that honor belongs to Princess Anne, King Charles's sister. She's held the title with distinction for decades. But when the day eventually comes that the title is vacant, it's up to the reigning monarch to choose who receives it next. And if Prince William becomes king one day, he could very well grant that title to his daughter, Princess Charlotte. The Princess Royal isn't just a ceremonial label, it's a signal. It tells the world that this royal woman is a key figure, trusted, visible, and deeply tied to the crown. So whether it's Duchess of Edinburgh or Princess Royal or something entirely new, one thing is certain: the banquet title may be just the beginning. Charlotte's name, role, and influence within the royal family are still evolving. And if this banquet moment was any indication, she might not have to wait until adulthood or marriage to make her mark. Titles carry meaning, and the one Charlotte received, it might be a quiet declaration of what's to come. Because behind palace walls, the next generation of royals is already being shaped. Behind every royal headline is a personal story. And this one starts not with a crown, but with a quiet bond between a grandfather and his granddaughter. Those close to the royal family say there's something special about the relationship between King Charles and Princess Charlotte. Something that goes beyond tradition or titles. Something warmer, more heartfelt. It's the kind of connection that feels more like friendship than formality. While the king carries the weight of the monarchy, insiders reveal that when it comes to Charlotte, his tone softens. He laughs more, he listens more, he shows up, not as the monarch, but as grandpa. And it's no coincidence that this bond has only grown stronger in recent years. King Charles spends much of his time at Windsor Castle, just minutes from Adelaide Cottage, where William and Kate are raising their children. This close distance has allowed more than just convenience. It's created closeness, a chance for Charlotte and her grandfather to truly connect. People who've observed them together say Charlotte reminds Charles of a younger version of himself, spirited, curious, bold, a little cheeky, a little serious, always thinking, always watching. She's not afraid to speak up. She's not afraid to ask questions. And she's definitely not afraid to have an opinion. That spark? Charles recognizes it because he's had it too. Even designer Amaya Arrieta, who has worked with the Wales family for years and met Charlotte multiple times, describes her as kind and caring, yet unmistakably strong-willed. A girl who knows who she is, even at 10. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what draws Charles to her. Some royal experts believe there's another layer to this connection, one rooted in something deeply personal. According to royal biographer Ingrid Seward, Charles had always dreamed of having a daughter. That wish never came true. But in Charlotte, perhaps he sees a second chance. She's not his daughter, but she fills that space in a way no one else quite could. It's the little things, like the woven friendship bracelet Charles was seen wearing last year. It wasn't flashy, but it was meaningful. Some believe it was made by Charlotte herself during one of her school breaks. A small gesture, a big message, love, connection, legacy. And it's not the first time Charles's desire for a daughter has been mentioned. Princess Diana once shared in her own words that when she was pregnant with Prince Harry, Charles admitted he had hoped for a girl. That longing didn't just disappear, it stayed quietly in the background. And now, as Charlotte grows, Charles has been given something extraordinary, the chance to build a bond he once thought he'd never have. Not out of duty, not out of royal obligation, but out of genuine affection. So when King Charles stood up at the French state banquet and gave Charlotte a rare new title, maybe it wasn't just about the crown. Maybe it was about fulfilling a quiet wish, a promise to a granddaughter he adores, a sign that her voice matters, her presence matters, and her future will be just as important as any heir. For all the sparkle that comes with royalty, there's a shadow that often follows those not born to inherit the crown. And that's exactly where Princess Charlotte stands, second in line behind her brother, Prince George, a position some call the spare. At first glance, it might sound like a backup role, less attention, fewer responsibilities, but the truth is being the spare can be even harder than being the heir. Because while the heir knows their path is set, crown, duty, leadership, the spare walks a line of uncertainty, always close to power, but never at the center of it. It's a position filled with expectation, but without the clarity of direction. Charlotte may be young now, but history tells us her journey won't be without its challenges. Royal historian Robert Hardman once explained that Queen Elizabeth had a deep understanding of this role. She witnessed it firsthand through her own sister, Princess Margaret, and later through her sons, Prince Andrew and Prince Edward. Each of them had to find a way to build a life while living in someone else's royal shadow. Even more recently, we've seen how complex this role can be through Prince Harry's experience. His story has shown the emotional toll that can come with being second, not just in line, but in public perception, in importance, in purpose. And that's what makes Charlotte's journey so delicate. Because while she'll always be part of the spotlight, her role may never be fully defined. The titles may change, the duties may grow, but she'll constantly be adapting, finding space to lead without overshadowing. It's a balance that William and Kate are deeply aware of. Insiders say they've made it a priority to raise all three of their children with equal love, support, and emotional guidance. But still, they understand the unique path Charlotte will have to walk. She's not just George's little sister. She's her own person, fierce, compassionate, thoughtful. And they want her to know that her place in the family is just as meaningful, even if it's not first in line. Prince William reportedly sees it as part of his job, not just to prepare his kids for royal life, but to protect them from the pressure that comes with it. And Charlotte, with her bold spirit and growing confidence, is showing signs that she's ready for whatever comes. Still, being the spare means walking a path filled with quiet tests. How do you serve the crown without fading into the background? How do you build a voice in a system that wasn't built for second place? Charlotte may not wear the future crown, but she wears something just as important, the weight of expectation, the eyes of the world, and the hope of a more modern, inclusive royal future. And maybe, just maybe, that's what King Charles saw at that banquet. Not a spare, but a symbol of strength, grace, and possibility. Princess Charlotte may be just 10 years old, but in royal years, she's already a seasoned pro. From an early age, she's handled the spotlight with a mix of poise and playfulness that's caught the public's attention and melted hearts around the world. Her journey into the public eye began in small, carefully managed steps. But it didn't take long for people to realize this little princess had something special. It started in 2019 when Charlotte made her first official walkabout at Sandringham on Christmas Day. Dressed in a forest green coat and holding tightly to her mother's hand, she greeted well-wishers like a natural. One fan gave her a pink inflatable flamingo, which she accepted with a gracious hug. Another handed her a doll. Witnesses described her as polite, confident, and incredibly mature for a 4-year-old. That single appearance set the tone for what was to come. As the years passed, Charlotte continued to step into the public sphere, but each time she showed more confidence, more presence, and more of her unique charm. In June 2022, during Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee, Charlotte accompanied her parents and Prince George on a visit to Cardiff Castle. This marked her first trip to Wales, and she stole the show. At one point, she was handed a conductor's baton and asked to lead an orchestra in a rendition of We Don't Talk About Bruno from Encanto. Shy at first, she gave it a try, and by the end, she was laughing with her brother, completely relaxed. Her mother later shared that Charlotte had been learning piano, so the moment wasn't just adorable, it was personal. Then came August 2022, when Charlotte joined William and Kate at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. This time, she didn't have George or Louis by her side. It was just her, and she handled it beautifully. Dressed in a black and white dress with her hair in neat braids, Charlotte cheered on swimmers with enthusiastic claps and wide-eyed excitement. She shook hands with athletes and staff at Sportsaid House, made eye contact, and introduced herself with confidence beyond her years. According to those who met her, she was respectful, articulate, and totally in her element. The public was impressed, but even more telling, so were the royals. Each outing seemed to show that Charlotte wasn't just participating, she was thriving, and with every step, her parents gave her a little more space to shine. By Christmas 2022, Charlotte was walking beside her older brother at the annual royal church service, accepting flowers and chatting with well-wishers like a young duchess in training. She wore the same red coat from the previous Royal Carol event, a subtle sign of her grounded upbringing, and greeted the crowd with warmth and maturity. Then in 2023, the Wales family took part in The Big Help Out, a nationwide volunteering initiative after King Charles's coronation. Charlotte joined her siblings at a Scouts event where she painted, played games, and roasted marshmallows around a campfire. With denim shorts and a pink sweater, she looked like any other girl her age, smiling, relaxed, real. And that's what makes her so special. She moves effortlessly between royal duties and childhood moments, charming people not just because she's royal, but because she's relatable. Charlotte isn't just growing up in the public eye. She's growing into her role with grace, empathy, and a spark that can't be taught. And with every public moment she owns, she shows the world she's more than a princess by birth. She's a royal rising star, and she's just getting started. In a royal family full of traditions, responsibilities, and centuries-old expectations, it's rare to find someone who feels both familiar and refreshingly new. But Princess Charlotte might just be that rare exception, a member of the royal family who bridges the past and the future with effortless charm. And many are beginning to wonder, is she the monarchy's secret weapon? While Prince George is steadily preparing to be king someday, and Prince Louis is still the spirited youngest, Charlotte is emerging as the quiet powerhouse in between. She's the one who seems to glide through public appearances, balancing duty with genuine personality, the one who manages to smile like a child and carry herself like a future leader, all at once. She's not trying to overshadow anyone, but somehow she's stealing the spotlight without even meaning to. That balance is something royal women in history have struggled to maintain. Too serious, and they're labeled cold. Too relatable, and they're accused of breaking protocol. But Charlotte seems to walk the line just right. She shows warmth without losing composure. She engages with the public while still protecting her space. And the comparisons are already starting. Some say she's inherited her mother Catherine's grace. Others see glimpses of Diana's magnetism. And a growing number of royal watchers are pointing out that Charlotte has a streak of Princess Anne's no-nonsense strength and independence. That's a powerful mix, but what makes her truly unique is how she makes it all seem so natural. There's a growing sense that Charlotte could become one of the royal family's most valuable assets, not because of her place in the line of succession, but because of who she is. She's relatable in a way that feels modern, she's confident in a way that feels reassuring, and she's poised in a way that suggests she's ready for more. The monarchy is evolving, whether by choice or necessity. It needs fresh energy, deeper connections with the public, and a new generation that can step into the spotlight without fear. And Charlotte? She's already doing that. She may not be next in line for the throne, but make no mistake, she's next in line for influence. And if she keeps going the way she is, she might just become the royal family's greatest strength, not because she's expected to, but because she was born ready. So, what are we really witnessing here? At first glance, the title announcement at the French state banquet seemed like a charming royal moment, a proud grandfather honoring his granddaughter. But step back, and it starts to look like something much more meaningful. This wasn't just about tradition or titles, it was about vision, a glimpse into the kind of monarchy King Charles may be trying to shape, and the kind of royal Princess Charlotte is becoming. She may not be destined to wear the crown, but her presence is already making waves. In just a few short years, Charlotte has shown she's more than capable of carrying the weight of a title, handling public attention, and stepping into a role with real purpose. And maybe that's what this is all really about. Because in a world where the monarchy is constantly evolving, where old traditions meet new expectations, it needs figures who feel real, royals who can connect, not just reign, who understands the role but also reshapes it. And Princess Charlotte, with her mix of charm, courage, and compassion, may just be the one who rises to that moment. King Charles saw something in her that night. Maybe he saw a reflection of his younger self. Or maybe he saw the future of the monarchy, not in the next king, but in the next generation of leaders. Leaders like Charlotte, who carry their titles with humility, who win hearts with kindness, who make history by being themselves. And now, it's your turn. What do you think? Was this a spontaneous gesture from a loving grandfather? Or was it a carefully planned move to prepare Charlotte for a larger role? Could she one day become the Duchess of Edinburgh? Or even the next Princess Royal? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take on what this moment really means for the royal family's future. And if you're fascinated by the next generation of royals, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who loves royal stories, and hit that subscribe button. There's so much more ahead.